So I thought that in real time, I would try to conceptualize my understanding of how this co regulation attachment experience that human beings have goes. Because I did not have co regulation as a child due to trauma, so much trauma in my family. And I find that when I discover these things as an adult, I have this high level thinking that I have developed, and I get to apply it to this experience that most of us just have as children. So we never develop words for it. And you also don't have to maybe notice it so much because it's just part of your life. It wasn't part of my life. And other people, it wasn't part of their lives either. So here we are. So to start, co-regulation is kind of like you can regulate on your own, meditate, breath work, run, calm yourself down. That's cool. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years. And that is like practicing tennis against a wall. It is a certain experience. Co-regulation, which for me is with my somatic practitioner, is like playing an entire game of tennis. It's just a different experience, and there's a giving and receiving, and that feels very intimate. Not in like intimacy as in like arousal or sexuality. Intimacy is in like, I would almost describe it as like a presence, present awareness that you're sharing together. And that builds this experiential feeling that we call attachment. And that feeling can be towards, a screen or a car, which they say are bad because you can't get co-regulation that way. You can't have a tennis game with your computer screen. It has to be another human being who is on that level with you, with your hearts synchronizing and your attention on the same place. And it creates something. And I like to call it a feeling Tamagotchi because we all had Tamagotchis as kids, and they were these things you had to take care of or they would die. And this feeling that's created in co regulation feels very much not just like a thing you have to take care of, but similar to, say, like, puppy love. When you get a crush on someone, you might your thoughts are focused on them, your energy is focused on them, you want to do things for them, right? You don't want to take them off, you want to be your best self, like that, but with a secure human that you're not sexually involved with, because normally it would be a parent-child relationship that you have it with first, and that orients you. Just like um, your behavior changes depending on this person that you're crushing on or this thing that you're obsessing with in life. If you have a solid person that is secure and you can feel safe with, you can use that feeling as like your anchor, your focus in life. And it really feels like it helps you navigate. But I specifically wanted to conceptualize that it helps you set this baseline, I think. Like, I'm sure somatic practitioners and everywhere would tell me that I'm wrong about this, but this is my personal understanding, is that what it feels like is if I have this feeling that's like a scale of a mountain that I'm using to gauge my life by, this is kind of like a really high standard to set. And if I go out in the world and, look to meet new people or something, and they're not meeting this standard with me, it's not as big of a blip. And I can reorient myself faster because the mountain is so big, it's so easy to find again. But if I don't have that mountain and I'm down here and I've never had this big thing to direct myself by, then anything that sparks my energy or drops my energy is going to make a really is going to reorient me. It's going to make me swing in all these different directions. Whether it could be an actual person or the TV show or an activity you're doing, a drug, whatever it is, they're making all the same level of blips in your life. So you keep changing attention because you don't have um, this, what would it be, like level 4 on the Richter scale? That's probably not how you say that. you don't have this big impactful energy that you will always reorient yourself towards. And I just feel like, wow, if children can get this from their parents, how much easier is that in life? Even if, sure, you're still going to have your same things, you're going to really want to do things you think your parent approves of, and that might orient you, in some unideal directions because parents aren't perfect. You're probably not always going to have secure attachment. Um, Probably very easy not to have a secure attachment because we're human. But if you have that, you have this compass in your life that is feelings, and not everybody gets that. And when you don't have that, you're just pulled in all of these different directions, and you can't figure out what's wrong. And it's because you haven't had something that's a big enough pull. So it's kind of like every day you can pick a different hiking trail and you can get to the peak of a hill and you're like, oh yeah, this is the thing. And then you come back down from the hill and you're lost again. But if you have a big mountain, no matter how many hills you go up and down, or how far up the mountain you go or back down, you always can see the tip of the mountain. And it's just a completely different experience of life. Like, so different in how you navigate, in how you think, in how you orient, in what you choose to do, in how clear your path will feel, in how you would pick a partner or how you would pick friends. Because if you have a reference point, it's so much easier than if you have no reference point. Then whoever's the loudest can win. And whoever's the loudest isn't necessarily the best for you. And whoever's the loudest could also be like really easily be that way because, and when I say loud, I just mean like attention energy wise. They could be someone who's extremely unhealthy, but you don't have anything bigger for your attention to hold to. So it gets stuck on this person and then you're doomed. Or likewise, you don't have anything bigger, so it gets stuck on your Lego or your Star Wars or whatever your little weird interest is that's not you and another human being. And it doesn't drive you to look for relationships because you're like, I get this feeling from Lego, so I get it from Lego. But if I get a certain feeling from a human being, if I can get it from one human being, then I can get it from many different human beings. And that can drive me to seek social connection, to seek looking for environments where I would find the similar pieces that would allow me to re experience that feeling, to build that with other people. It would, is completely altering, building for the first time, really, a path for me of, hey, I want to go in this direction. And I don't know what's in that direction exactly, but it's okay because I know that that direction is where this feeling lives and I need to go there. But if your thing isn't people, if your thing that you got attached to was just a game, that could drive you to seek other people, but it's just not the same. Yeah, I think I got it. Safe co regulation is a set point that physically, internally guides you through different consciousness states, through different life situations, through reality, And when we don't have that, we're really lost. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful at all or interesting, let me know. But if you're going to leave a comment, please be kind.